Hi guys, it's Kaylee here, and today we're going to talk about how to use terms and conditions to protect your business. So let's get stuck in. Hey, so terms and conditions. Now these are something that most people look at and think, oh my god, what the hell have I got to try and deal with here? But it's not as difficult as you think, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to make it as easy as possible as I can for you. So I've got my notes in front of me, so let's go through them point by point. So terms and conditions, they are crucial for any business. Okay, so it helps clients understand what they must do, what you must do, and how there's kind of no wavering grey areas in between. So basically it's kind of like a set of rules. So it kind of sets the boundaries before you even start with your clients, which is really good, and it makes life a heck of a lot easier if something were to go wrong, so that at least everyone knows where they are. You just refer back to your terms and conditions and just go from there. So there are different points to terms and conditions. So first one, consultations. So this is going to really apply for those who work more in the services industry rather than kind of product based, unless you're doing like a bespoke quote or something like that, I suppose. So it needs to be like the first step when you take on a new client. Number one step, no exemptions. So it gives you an opportunity to meet the client, and you can discuss the appointment and discuss the treatment that you're going to have, or discuss the service that you're going to provide to the client, kind of get a bit of a feel for each other, and make sure that you're both kind of on the same wavelength really. So there are no kind of weird hidden expectations that you can't provide to your client, because that would be terrible. And it also gives you an opportunity to assess the client to see whether they're suitable for your business, because one thing that most people don't think about is that it's all very well getting loads of different clients in, but if they're not suitable for your business and they're not the type of client that you want, then don't take them, because those type of clients are going to be the ones that you're not going to give 100% to, and you're probably going to be in a situation where they're likely to cause you a headache because you're not meeting on the same area and you're not in agreement on most things. So always kind of keep that in mind. If you're doing beauty treatments, then at this stage it's a great opportunity to get your patch test done, especially if you're here in the UK, because we have to do patch tests. There is no exemptions, okay? I know there's been a lot of points over the years where certain glue manufacturers for lash extensions, for example, have turned around and said, no, we don't feel we need to do a patch test. But you've got to refer it back to your insurer. And if your insurer says you need to do a patch test, you need to do a patch test, because if something goes wrong, then your insurance can be invalid. So take time and do the patch test. And there's also a chance for the client to meet you as a person and kind of gain confidence before the treatment even starts, about the treatment and about you and about your business, and it helps build a rapport ready for going forward. So client consultation, number one thing, okay? Next point on your terms and conditions is a booking fee. So if you're the type of business where you need to take a deposit, then this is going to apply to you here. So it's crucial in situations where you can to take a non-refundable booking fee, and you need to specify it as a non-refundable booking fee. Do not ever call it a deposit to the client's face, because if you do, under UK law, a deposit is refundable, okay? And far too often people who are new to the industry, or if you've not had many clients before and you're still building your portfolio, you feel that it's a bit rude to ask for a deposit or booking fee, but it isn't, okay? People who go and pay to, when I go and book a tattoo, for example, I have to pay a non-refundable booking fee because I have to book out that time for the tattooist, because if he books out 4 hours to do some work on me, then if I don't show up, he doesn't get paid. So this is what you're protecting against. If a client doesn't turn up, or you go to them, or they cancel last minute, or whatever could happen, if you have a situation where you can't earn the full amount from that booking, at least then you can still claw back some of your time that you can't fill with another client, because it would be too late. So it's one of those things that you can set how much you want to take. Some people only take £5 or £10. I tend in our salon to take 50%, purely because it's better. And the girls that work in the salon, they are self-employed, so if they run along the same lines and take 50%, it means if they have a no-show, at least they get half of the funds that they would have got for the treatment, and that way they're still covered for wasted time. So definitely worth looking at a booking fee if you can. Person that's not willing to pay for a booking fee, they're generally someone who doesn't respect you as a person and doesn't respect you as a business. Most people who are willing to pay for it, they're the type of clients that you're going to want, because they're going to be more inclined to be upfront with you and kind of meet you halfway on the way that you run your business. So it's one of those things that if they're not willing to pay for a booking fee, you kind of got to ask yourself, do you really want them as a client? They're likely to be ones that will just drop you and just go off to somewhere else and not really care, whereas you're wanting clients that are going to stay with you, that are going to build a relationship with you, and are going to kind of be loyal to you. So you've got to kind of weigh out what type of clients that you want to take, and whether charging a booking fee is going to be viable for you. Cancellation is obviously something that runs hand in hand with the booking fee, and it is a key part of your terms and conditions. So no matter what happens, you need to specify when's your cut-off period for a client arriving and it being too late. So for example, I usually say you've got a 15-minute grace period, because those 15 minutes are usually when you're doing the client's consultation form, you're getting the client a cup of coffee, and you're making sure everything is there and ready to go, and they just end up with 15 minutes less at the end of their appointment, because I refuse to overrun for anyone. If they're late, they're late. It's their issue, okay? So that's how kind of we operate. It is totally up to you. You can do whatever you want, but I'd definitely say pick a cut-off period for if your client is late. In terms of a full cancellation, if your client decides to reschedule, you've got to weigh up whether they are a regular client, whether they're a new client, whether they're a client that has let you down before. So kind of look at those three things in total and see what happens. If you know the client and you've got them on social media, it's always worth double checking to see if they are lying to you. I've had clients before, and so every other therapist that I've met, they have said, oh no, I'm not coming in today, I feel ill, and then 5 minutes later there's a social media post of a picture of them out on the piss last night, and 5 minutes later there's a picture of them out on the Raz last night. So you kind of gotta think, well, if you're going to lie to me and you're not going to respect me as a business owner, then why should I give you a free pass on this occasion? No, I'm going to charge you because you've wasted my time and you lied. So you need to weigh it up. If there is a genuine situation, I had a client recently that somehow messaged me while she was in labour on the way to hospital saying, I'm really, really sorry, baby's coming early, I'm not going to make the appointment. Of course I'm going to let that slide, baby's coming. So it's one of those where you kind of got to weigh it up, and luckily she was a regular client and she'd never let me down before, she'd always paid her booking fees, and so it wasn't an issue. So that's kind of something, again, weighing it up and working out what's going to work best for you and work best for your business. So let's have a look and see what else we've got. Okay, early arrivals. Yeah, this is an important one, and it's one that often gets overlooked. So especially for you ladies who work from home in the beauty industry, for example, or generally if you work from home, to be honest, in any kind of business, if you have someone that is constantly arriving early, do you really want them kind of sitting around in your home or kind of hanging around at the front of your house? It's going to look very nice, and in terms of like neighbours, and they're going to start wondering what's going on. So you kind of got to be quite strict in your terms and conditions. So say, you know, I will allow you to arrive 5 minutes early for your appointment, no more, and that is it. I don't want you arriving an hour early. If they do and they knock on the door, just turn around going, come back, or don't even answer, and just have a sign next to your front door saying, you know, we won't answer until it's time for your appointment. These are very well, and it's nice to have a client that wants to be punctual. That's great. It means you haven't got to deal with the lateness and trying to weigh that up and shortening their appointment. But if someone is early, then trying to say to them in the politest way possible, don't turn up till 5 minutes before your appointment. That's the kind of thing you've got to say, and just be as nice as you can about it and say, look, I really appreciate that you are the type of person who likes to be early. However, I do work from home. I only accept people 5 minutes before their appointment. Or even if you're in a salon, you know, you're going to be back to back. So just kind of say to someone, look, I am going to be in the middle of a treatment when you arrive early each time. So I'm really grateful that you like to be punctual, but please make sure that you do only turn up 5 minutes before your appointment. That way I know that I can give you my undivided attention, because I will be ready for your appointment at that point. Try and flip it from a negative to a positive to say, you know, I want to give you the attention. I want you to feel like my number one client. I want you to feel like my only client, but I can't do that if you turn up early and I'm still in the middle of dealing with someone else, because I don't want to divert my time from my client to you when it's not your turn yet. Okay, so kids and friends at appointments. Now, those of you that know me, I don't have children, and I can't understand or begin to understand how hard it is to not have to have children and try and juggle what family life as a whole. However, there is a certain point where it becomes a bit awkward when ladies bring their children to appointments. I had a microblading client in, and she asked if she could bring her daughter. Now, to me, that is a big no-no, and that is also against bylaws in this country, because I'm effectively doing a tattoo treatment. And no one under the age of 18 could be in the room whilst I'm doing the treatment. It's also the fact that I am putting eyebrow strokes into her via a hand tattoo method, and if I'd got knocked or anything like that, she could have ended up with something up her forehead, and you know, I would be the one that would then get the blame because I've messed up. So again, flipping it around, being as polite as you can, and generally just kind of telling a little white lie and saying, look, I'm sorry, but my insurance companies don't allow children to be in the salon. We want to be able to give you a relaxation experience, and so you're calm and refreshed and have 5 minutes away from family and kids and a bit of me time. So that's why we don't allow children in the salon. We want you to have the best experience possible, and try and go from it down that angle. If someone really can't rearrange their childcare, then maybe you need to look at rearranging their appointment. And again, it is up to you, depending on your terms and conditions, as to how flexible you are. Just kind of see how it goes. Ladies who deal with lash treatments, makeup and contact lenses. I have implemented a rule that if my clients turn up with makeup on to a lash extension appointment, I will charge them to take their makeup off, and that soon nipped it in the bud, and the client will now turn up with no makeup on. Easy, 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 because they don't want to be charged any more than they have to. They're being lazy, they need to take their makeup off. Bugbear. Infill times. Again, this is geared to people who are dealing with nails and lashes and things that generally need an infill appointment in the beauty industry. So if you are infilling a treatment or a service that you provide and your client says, oh, I've only lost one nail, that's fine, so you very nicely turn around and say, okay, I'll just do that one as a repair price because you're a regular client for me, and then they turn up and they've got like 2 nails left on. This is where you've then got to say, actually, in my terms and conditions it does state if you're missing more than 4, then it does get classed as a new set, because it's going to take you longer. You've got to build a whole new set effectively. And again, until you educate your clients are not going to be aware of that. So try and put it in a nice way as possible. Again, we're flipping it around and just say, you know, let's just take everything off and we'll give you a nice fresh set, because I think, you know, that it's time for them old ones to come off now. And we want you to make sure that everything's all growing out at the same rate and it's all looking nice and fresh. And generally a client will actually sit there when they're in the hot seat and go, yeah, okay, that's fine. So try and flip it as much as you can. Caffeine intake. It's one of those things that it's really nice to offer your client a refreshment when they arrive in your premises, but I've had clients that will sit there and go, oh, can I have another cup of tea, love? Can I have another cup of tea? Can I have another cup of tea? And you're just like, I'm spending more time making you tea than I am doing your service. So just kind of, if they ask for a second one, just go, no, sorry, we're just about to start our treatment now, so I want you to lay still if that's alright, or I want you to sit still, so I don't want nail dust going into your tea, and just kind of go with those kind of movements. Again, flipping it around as much as possible. Big thing for your terms and conditions is if you take pictures of any of the work that you do, you need to get permission from your client. So especially if you are in the UK or any EU country, because of data protection and GDPR, we need permission. Okay, so put it into your client consultation form so that they can tick a box to say any photos that are taken before, during or after your treatment, do you allow me to use them on social media for marketing? Specify it for marketing. You know, as long as the client knows what exactly you're going to be doing with them, then you're absolutely fine. And I've got a cat that's suddenly appeared, so we might have Harley walking across at some point. Hello, Harley. Yeah, she's coming. Okay, so I think that's just about everything that I wanted to cover with you guys on terms and conditions. Obviously your terms and conditions are going to need to be listed on your website if you have a website, and they do need to be on your client consultation forms, and I would strongly suggest that you review your client consultation forms with your client every few months, because things can change, medications can change, situations can change, and we need to make sure that everything is constantly up to date. And those can then be filed away in the appropriate area of your business so that it complies with data protection and GDPR. But that is a whole other subject to try and deal with in one go. So I hope this video has been helpful and you've learned a little bit about how to prepare your terms and conditions. If you have any other points that you'd like to add, I always welcome them, so drop them down in the comments below and give me a thumbs up please, and please subscribe and push the bell button so you can get notified when I do a new video. I'm trying to build my new area with YouTube, so I really hope you guys would show some love and support and get friends involved. It would be really nice to try and pass on all these lovely hints and tips that I've come across and all the things that I share with my students at my beauty academy with you. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'd like to see you again next time. Bye.